Hi again then guys, and so we've got another drag spec tune for you today, and this time it's for a relatively underappreciated car, the Mitsubishi Legnum VR-4, which is of course a wagon, so you want your racing soft tyres as usual. For suspension we've got the ride height on 130 on the front, 140 on the back. Springs have increased to 8 on the front and as low as possible on the rear. Dampers 4 on the front, 1 on the back. 4 on the front, 3 on the back for extension. Anti-roll as high as possible to keep the car straight and true. Camber and toe neutral to get as much tyre contact to the road as possible. For the gearbox, this is definitely not a long distance drag tune, I cannot stress that enough. So you want an auto setting of 180. Then for the individual gears we've gone for 3.3. Then second, third, fourth and fifth all the way to the left. And sixth on 0.870. With a final drive of 3.3. For the diff you want the highest initial torque for that explosive launch off the line, high acceleration and low braking sensitivity. We've got a 50-50 torque split on this one. You want all your power upgrades of course, and as usual with these drag tunes I will be running NOS, and obviously you want the full weight loss package. I will be using an automatic gearbox as usual, and of course you want traction control turned off. Now, as I said, this is primarily a short distance drag tune. I would not at all recommend using it for long distance drags because it just doesn't have the top speed for it, which is a shame because it's a nice car, but the top speed really isn't anywhere near what it could be. So, as always, we're put up against a vehicle with significantly more power. In this case, it really does have significantly more. We're putting it up against the C4 generation Corvette ZR1. Both vehicles are using auto boxes, no traction control, racing soft tyres, and of course NOS. So, how does this 535 horsepower Legnum compare to an 811 horsepower Corvette? Well, let's find out. Now obviously the all-wheel drive off the line gives it an advantage, but still, obviously the Corvette catches up top end. But that's around 600 metres, and this car is faster than an 800 horsepower Corvette. So pretty impressive considering this has the best part of 300 horsepower less. Now top speed wise, as you can see, it's no way near the speed of many of my other drag tunes, but unfortunately the car just doesn't have that greater top speed. I'm not sure why they've rendered it that way, because as far as power, it should have a much better top speed than it actually does, but for some reason they've chosen to make it a really slow top-end car. So this is fairly obviously primarily a quarter mile or even eighth of a mile drag tune more than anything else. So if you keep it to around the 500 meters or less drags, you'll do well. Anything above that, it'll be hopeless. And for the quarter mile or less, it's one of the quicker cars of the power band. Many of the other vehicles that have this kind of performance have significantly more power than that, even in the all-wheel drive category. So there are less specs in the description about this car because, as I said, it's a shorter drag tune, but it hits 60 miles per hour in 1.6 seconds, which for its power and for a wagon is still very impressive. It hits 100 miles per hour in 3.8. It hits 200 in 20.4, which you can really tell from that it's not a top-end performer. It does the quarter mile in 8.9, which is actually only 0.1 of a second behind the 900 horsepower Supra from yesterday's drag tune. And it does the standing mile in 23.4, which all things considered is not that bad for a car that doesn't have a very good top end. So if you haven't tried the Legnum for drag racing before, I would actually recommend it because it's pretty cheap and it's really quick off the line, as you saw just now. So if you decide to use this tune, I hope you find it fun and competitive. If you did find it helpful, feel free to subscribe. I put out new drag tunes every weekend and new top speed tunes every day. And as always, thanks for watching.